full wall. It doesn't have any wires in it because you can go pretty quick. Good friction fit to that. That's it. This one has a box and a wire. So I'm just going to kind of get an idea where the box is. Cut it out. Tear a little chunk out. Pretty easy to do. Friction fit it around that box. We will cut a slit from the top because there's that wire coming down. So I can just kind of hide that. That's it. Piece of cake. Another full bat here, no wires. So, one thing I like to point out, I am wearing a mask. There's nothing in here that's going to harm you, but there is, it can be a little bit dusty, so I'm wearing a mask just for nuisance dust. That's it. But there's nothing in here that's going to irritate your skin or really get in your lungs either. So you can see in this bat, we got a little wire run on the side here, and when I was putting it in, I didn't notice that, so just kind of pull it back and tuck that wire in so it looks a little better. Then everything's covered, so it looks a lot cleaner and nicer. So again, I'm just going to put it up there. I'm going to mark out where the top of the box is. I'm going to make a little cut right there, and about right there. We're friction fitting it so it doesn't have to be exact, it just has to be close. And I'm just tearing that little chunk out. And then we have another wire up there. So I'm going to cut from this side. Okay. From this side, I'm going to cut a little slit in it there so I can fit those wires in between. That's it. Now we'll install it. I like to start at the top and push it all the way up so we know we're getting a good tight fit all the way at the top. Work it all the way around and in between the box. And then again, we got a wire running all the way up here, so I'm just going to kind of reach in there and tuck that a little bit better, just so we know we're getting around it. And then I'm going to go to the other side and work it in the wire that's standing here. Sometimes you need a ladder. That's it. Right. Because these wires are coming up through and I want it to look good on both sides, you can see that wire in there. I can just grab the middle of that and kind of pull it apart a little bit and then wrap it around the wires. That just looks better. And I'm just tucking the wires again. That's it. We're going to cut these down to about 9.5 to 10 inches. Dimensions don't have to be perfect because we're friction fitting everything anyway, so it's okay to fit them in tight. I'm going to sharpen the knife and I'm going to make my long cut. Again, we've got a couple of 2x4s here on either side, so we can make a nice even cut. At the same time, not damage the polished concrete that's in there. It's about the width of a 2x anyway. So it makes it pretty easy just to set them up and cut them. See how it fits. All right, now that we've got everything put up, we had two smaller pieces, two cuts to make on either end. Those thankfully don't have wires in them, so it's just a matter of cutting like we just showed you in the video. Making your long cuts, make them a little bit bigger so they friction fit in there nice and tight. And it's just a matter of putting them in there. Make sure you're tucking them up good to the top. Nice and flush. For those people that are OCD and want all the lines to look nice and perfect, do a good job. Make sure it looks good quality. And there's your sound wall in between two offices. One thing I do want to point out, these are our ECOCELL bats, which you can friction fit in there. You can also net one side of the wall like they've done here. You can see that netting in the staples. And then you can spray our cellulose insulation, a Newell brand, right into the wall. And that creates a very dense sound wall as well. You got two different ways to do it. Net and blow, or put the ECOCELL bats in. That's it. Just run it down like 3 times, and that's it. 20 inches for the wire. A little slit. We're working from this side on this one because we have some stuff on the back side. I'm just working from this side to make it easier. but we have the wire in the center of the back. It's nice and flat. Sometimes you're going to have big stuff like this in there, and we're just going to cut a little chunk out. Not exactly sure how they're going to finish that, so they may want to pull the bat out and then put it back in. We're skipping these two cavities because that stud cavity is more than 14.5, which is what a typical stud cavity is. So it's more like 16 inches from outside to outside. So we're going to cut and fit two pieces in that one. This one's a little bit thinner, so we might cut off and use that piece over there. But we can still do these cavities as we're going along here. So again, measure your height on your wires. 24 on this one. They're not consistent. And then just put it 24. So normally in between studs, we're about 14.5 inches in between the studs. We make the bats bigger so they can friction fit and fit in there. And you have a stud cavity because they've moved this one over. This one's 16, so we're going to put two pieces in this one. This one, however, is just under 13 inches. So I'm going to cut it to about 13.5 inches of full length so I can fit that piece in there so it's not bowing out too much. So we measured. On the inside, we had a cavity that's 13 inches, so I'm going to cut it to 13.5. And to do the long lengths, because inside the building is polished concrete, I'm making this cut outside. I just have a couple of 8-foot 2x4s, so I can put one on the bottom and one on the top because I don't want to damage anybody's flooring. And to cut the long lengths, I measured 13.5 inches to here. To cut the long lengths, it's just a matter of putting the board on there to try and get a nice straight cut. And that's it. Cut this to 13.5 with that 2x on the bottom. Just going to go along, make this rip, lay it out as I'm going along. There are other tools you could use to make cuts. I just find this is probably the easiest and cleanest way to do it. We're going to try and fit that in the other spot. I have two boxes. Fortunately, the boxes are in the same spot. So I'm just going to kind of friction it up there. Find the top of the box. Pinch it off. I'm going to cut two box folds on either side. We obviously have one on the bottom as well that I've cut, but I want to get these cut first. So you can also, when you have it in there, you can maybe right here on the box and pull it out a little bit. Take a little more out. Good for that one, actually. Alright, so I made a cut for the wire, but now I gotta try and do something, at least for this lower section. So I'm just gonna kind of measure over a little bit. I'm gonna go over about 1 inch, and I'm gonna take off another 3 inches or so. Making some marks. I'm gonna cut a little chunk out. What I'm going to do with this, because it doesn't go all the way through, is I'm just going to make a little slit down in here. Like this. And I don't want to take all the material out, I just want to take a little. So I'm just going to pull a little bit out. So again, we got this plumbing fixture in here, so we made a little cut out of that. But this cavity was 16 inches instead of 14 and a half. And I don't have 24-inch bats here with me today. We do make a 24-inch bat, but because I don't, I'm going to try and fit 2 pieces in together. So that's a matter of taking one of my cutout pieces along with this one and fit them in there. So I'm making 2 pieces, my scrap piece, into one of these to get it to fit in there. That actually worked pretty slick.